We're good. All right. How's it
All
going,
right.
everybody? We're graphic novel geeks, and we're going to talk about some graphic novels today. So how you guys doing?
Hey, I'm all right, Matt. Hello to all our viewers.
Yes. Let's see. Where's that chat? Okay, so maybe you can start off with what you want to talk about, and I'm gonna get this chat going so you can see it.
Yeah, certainly. I've got a couple great graphic novels today. I'm going to start out with DC's new release just in time for Halloween. Deadman Tells Spooky Tales.
Ooh, Deadman. That's nice.
Yeah.
I like Deadman.
This is by Franco, and he's got about a dozen artists that are helping him tell the stories. So Franco is he in prior work last year for DC, he came out with Arkhamaniacs with his buddy Art Baltazar. And Art and Franco are Eisner Award-winning team. I believe for Teen Titans Go.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, for Tiny Titans.
Oh, okay.
Franco and Art are co-owners of a company called Aw Yeah Comics. So all their comics are kid friendly and they're really awesome stuff. I love Action Cat and Aw Yeah Comics. Arkhamaniacs was a great Batman tale. And so Deadman is his newest release just in time for Halloween, like I said. So
That's
Deadman
nice. That's cool.
Tells Spooky Tales is definitely suitable for all ages. Most of Franco's work I've really enjoyed and felt that even though it's for kids, that I've always loved it very much as well. This one is under the DC Kids label, and it is more for kids. So adults, I mean, there's some cool artwork and stuff, but this is more something to get for your kids, or if you're super rich, pass them out as Halloween treats. They're like, $10 a pop. So that's a super expensive Halloween gimme. But, if you want to get for your kids, there's probably something great to share with them. The artwork, and so what it is there's a bunch of short stories, and it's kind of done in the style of old EC, like Tales from the Crypt comics, or maybe even more like the from the 90s Goosebumps, right? The framing sequences are drawn by Sarah Richard, and her artwork is amazing.
Wow.
And I just blown away page after page by her just like really creepy, spooky artwork. So it's really really dark and creepy. I don't know that I've got more words for it than that. I just love it. She's got a lot of play with like panel layout. So like Deadman's going upside down there, and man, it's just incredible stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, it looks. Oh, I love the way he looks. He looks more Halloween-y, I should say.
Yeah. It's more like in the 90s, Kelly Jones did Deadman and made it a more like ghostly kind of look, rather than Neil Adams when he created Deadman was more of a typical muscle-bound superhero kind of guy. And so this kind of goes back more to the ghostly, creepy look. Two stories that there were a few good stories in here that I particularly liked. One of them was called The Fisherman, and that was a good story, illustrated by Tracina Bowling. And it had some really nice artwork as well. So there's the fisherman there in the grocery store. And these most of the stories were about 5-6 pages, and they have little twists to them. There was one about cats that was fun.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's very whimsical art.
Yeah. Just a lot of different stuff. They have Man-Bat in here as well. So he gets an appearance, but for the most part, it's not really a superhero comic. Besides the Man-Bat story and Deadman framing, it's just no name characters, mostly like kids going around finding kind of creepy stuff. And again, it's not any complex highbrow literature that Neil Gaiman fans are going to want to read or anything like that. But it is, fun stories. I think kids will enjoy. Probably ages about 7 to 10 would be my guess on who the target audience for this would be. And Franco really put together a great team of a variety of artists. And I recommend this for kids. Make a great creepy Halloween reading.
Yeah, and with the twist of fantasy, it's really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. That's I definitely appreciate it when they break the boundaries of the box of panels.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on by Sarah Richard. Really blown away by her art in this.
That's great. Well, thanks for sharing that. That looks really amazing. I like to look at that too sometime. It looks pretty cool.
Cool.
All right, so I can go over one right now.
All right, great. What you got?
All right, so I'm gonna talk about the Flash, the human race, which is a race that he does across the universe to save planet Earth. And it's a race that he's thrown into because he sees this hero on Earth that failed the race. And the race was originally set up by these gambling, what's the word? Alien entities? Not gods, but right there. These guys right there look like almost like Beetleborgs, but they're actually really giant.
Okay, like celestials. Like celestials.
Pretty much. And their whole bet or gamble is that these two people have to race, and the loser, well, their planet get destroyed, right? And because the hero, what's his name, G-Force, in the first few pages right here, they got the blue and yellow, he fails and he dies, and they're like, oh well, they show up on Earth, and then they're like, we gamble. Right there.
Nice.
Yeah. So then they're like, who is your fastest champion or whatever? And they're like, the Flash. So then he enters the race, and he ends up racing this electronic entity made of radio waves and electricity, called right there. This is that guy right there.
Okay.
And I think what was the name again? It was started with a K. Crackle. And there he is making circles around Wally West.
All right, cool. He reminds me of like Mixaplix or the little bottle imp from Johnny Thunder.
Johnny Thunder. I don't know if I know that
There-
one.
There's a few different fifth dimensional imps like Batmite, Mixaplix, and Johnny Thunder's bottle imp.
Yeah.
And, Aquaman's got one too.
Oh. To me, it looks like a cross between Sonic the Hedgehog and like just pure energy to me. But I love the story because they run across the universe, and actually he's able to communicate with Linda. He has a little communicator there, and the way they said it is that there is communication open through the fourth dimension, because I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the fourth dimension is time. It doesn't. I guess it kind of makes sense. And then it's just really great looking at his intergalactical race across the universe. I think it's really awesome. It's written by Grant Morrison and Mark Miller. Right there, and I think Mark Miller did some, or Grant Morrison did some Batman stuff, right?
Yeah, so Grant Morrison did Batman, Batman and Robin. I know him best from Doom Patrol. Did a phenomenal run on Doom Patrol. Animal Man. He's super famous writer. Always does great stuff. Arkham Asylum was
Oh
a
yeah.
very popular Batman novel. Mark Miller, I believe, is the creator or co-creator of Kick-Ass, I think.
I,
So that's a pretty popular
yeah.
series. They got their own movie that was pretty cool. I
remember
think
that
that's
movie.
Mark Miller.
I think you're right. I think you're right. It's drawn by Paul Ryan. He's a penciler, and I like his artwork. It's pretty good. It's very it's nice to look at. I like it. I really like this image. Look at that. I mean, it's very
Nice.
stylized with all the bright colors. I put some blue in there. It's actually an art trick. The whole you can go like the light blue and see with the white. They kind of made it kind of like have that pop. And when you mix paint, and you can go the opposite direction when you go to black, and you actually supposed to use dark blue because if you use black, it makes it flat. But dark blue will make this kind of dark kind of hue that looks more like a shadow. Artist talk, and I'm an artist.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really recommend it. I think it's a great story running through the universe. And stuff like that. All the things he faces, and one of my favorite images is right here with all that rainbow. See, and this is where he's like losing his hope, and then Linda reminds him of who he is. He says, "Was he still right there?" She's like, "You're the Flash. You're the fastest man alive," and he's like, "And then some, baby, and then some."
Nice.
Yeah. Shows you a scale right there on the size of the entity on the ground. They never actually give a name to them. I was trying to find a name. They don't name them.
Okay.
But I definitely recommend this book. It's great. It's only the first few parts. After that, after the human race part, it introduces the Black Flash.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I can end it there unless we want to talk about the rest of the book, but it's a different story.
Okay, and what's the title of that collection called?
It's called The Human Race.
The Human Race. All right.
Yes.
Cool.
And there's the illustration on the front of Crackle. He looks different than the way he does in the book. He looks like almost like a demon imp, but in the book, he looks like cartoonified.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, you can go on to your next one. You have another one.
All right. Yeah. Kind of looks like we might have a little extra time. So I'll talk a little bit about Arkhamaniacs to follow up with some more Franco. This one's by his often partner in crime, Art Baltzar. It's also on the DC Kids label. So it is intended for a younger audience, but I would definitely call it an all ages book. Whereas, a book for kids is for kids. An all ages book is something that adults are going to enjoy as well. This one I feel is very much an all ages book. All right. So we've got Art Baltzar doing the art in here, and he does this like really cartoony style. They're not stick figures, but they're like these really round figures with like kind of flailing limbs kind of thing. So it's very stylized, but I love it. I think it's a great style. It's just so fun.
Yeah.
And so Arkhamaniacs, stars Joker, Harley, Killer Croc, and Batman.
That's Killer Croc?
Yeah, that's Killer Croc there. It's got most of Batman's villains make appearances in here. And what it is little Bruce Wayne notices that there's this like weird house next door and wants to check it out more. And meanwhile, it's full of inmates that are having a great time with pool parties and things of that sort. Poison Ivy, you know, is growing some plants. Sometimes they get a little out of control.
Ah,
So here's the summary from the back cover. There's an apartment building in Gotham City full of life. Kids with special powers, pirates in the swimming pool, even a croc or two. Young Bruce Wayne is drawn to the fun and excitement he sees going on at the Arkham Apartments, but to Wayne Enterprises, it's just another property they own. Bruce is determined to find out why this apartment building is full of so much fun and laughter. What exactly is going on over there? Time to sneak over when no one is looking, even though it's like the house is laughing at him. Ha 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 ha. With Arkhamaniacs, Art Baltazar and Franco return to the DC universe and provide their unique cartoony take on a Gotham City quite unlike any we've seen before.
I mean, yeah.
And yeah, so this came out like last year, you know, it should still be available in comic shops. And you know, it's a quick read, suitable for all ages, and just a ton of fun.
Yeah. That's a way to lighten the whole Arkham Asylum criminal thing.
Yeah, they're not so much criminals, but they're party animals.
I mean, yeah, that's a way to, yeah. That's awesome. I like that. Thanks for sharing that. That's really cool. It's a cool. Yeah, kids should read that. You know, it's very looks like it's very lighthearted.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I think would be great for parents to read with their kids. Much like the Deadman tells spooky tales as well. You know, these are things to read together. If you love comics and want to get your kids into it, you know, do this together. Really, you can really nurture a love for comics with these two items, I think.
Yeah, that's cool. So I got another thing to share, and then I was going to show some things. I have this book called Fire Breather. I never ever heard of that one. It's an independent comic. It's written by, pretty sure, Brad Meltzer. There's his name right there.
Okay, cool. He brought us Identity Crisis.
Oh, really?
DC Comics, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think he's a Eisner winner, or at least he's a writer of some renown.
New York Times
Yeah.
bestseller author.
Yeah, he's great.
Well, actually, it says forward by, actually, so he's not the writer. The writer is actually Phil Hester.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Phil Hester's the writer, but he wrote a forward on it, which is, it means it must be good, right?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's drawn by Andy Kuhn. It's very stylized too, and it's basically about a kid who is half dragon, half human. But they really show it in the way he is depicted. There's him as a kid. You look, it has very dragon-like feature, right? Which is good to do actually, because it's like breaking the boundary of just like adding ears, you know, like the pointy ears or whatever.
Yeah.
That's him as a kid, and he grows up to a teenager. When is right there, 15, and it, you know, be like any high schooler, he deals with going to high school and looking different and stuff like that, and people make fun of him. His dad apparently is a dragon that, what's the word, causes havoc. But there is his dad.
Nice. That's a sick looking dragon.
Yeah, and of course his mom is a human. So yeah, maybe maybe the dragon took a human form at some point, right?
Yeah.
I think it's great. I started reading again. I haven't read it in a while, but I love the designs of the monsters. You know, besides the dad, there's a point where it has there's green dragon-like creature. Oh no, like a wolf. Right there, a zebra, horse, wolf, tiger thing.
Yeah.
There he is, punching him out. Yeah, there's his name is Duncan, the main character, and he's
Okay.
punching out the the monster.
Nice.
And it's a great story about him navigating through everyday life, and he starts to fight monsters to save humans, right? And it's about his relationship with his mom and his dad. So I think it's a great read. There's him he has he grows wings, or I guess he has wings, but he can use it to fly. Let's see. There's some right there in a classic superhero pose with wings. Yeah. So I think it's a great story. Actually, on the back it has well, such a description or something, or a review by Eric Larson,
All right.
the guy who brought Savage Dragon. He said, in
Yeah.
a day when cookie cutter characters clutter the shelves, Fire Breather is a welcome change. It's new, it's exciting, it's different, and frankly, welcome. This is everything a comic should be. So you got
Cool.
endorsement from another dragon guy.
Yeah. Hey, who's the publisher on that one? I've never heard of
Oh,
that series.
Image Comics.
Image. All right. Cool.
Yeah. So I'd recommend it. It's a great read. It's very fun. Just like a typical kid, but that has to deal with all this stuff, like his dad and stuff like that, which is a dragon.
Yeah. You don't want to upset that dad.
Yeah, I know. You don't.
It sounds like a cool coming of age story.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. Dealing with his I guess his abilities and controlling his temper. There's him blowing fire.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's funny because one of my stories that I'm working on, it's a manga. It's in the writing process, but the main character is a half dragon, half human, but he's different than this. He's different. Like most dragon characters can breathe fire or wield fire, and the character in my story can control it. So that's very defensive, but it can become offensive. So
Cool.
yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, and I think that's all I'm gonna share for now, but I recommend it. I have the first and second volumes. It's really cool.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a pretty good story. I'd like to check that out.
Yeah. Do you have another thing to share? I can share something else.
Yeah, I do. So I just got this. I have not finished reading it yet. This is Grip of the Kombinat by Simon Roy and Damon Gentry.
The Kombinat.
Yeah. And so this graphic novel hardcover just came out from Image. I got this through a Kickstarter, but it's probably now available in stores as well. So Simon Roy first came to my attention. There was a comic, an Image comic called Prophet by Rob Liefeld, and it wasn't anything particularly notable, but years later they did a reboot, and Simon Roy did the art, and the art is just amazing, and definitely worth checking out there. So I was like, man, who's this Simon Roy guy? He's awesome. And so I've been following his stuff ever since. So to me, it looks like he has this really heavy Mobius / Miyazaki kind of influence. So like Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. It looks like he's got a heavy like Joe Kubert style. I thought maybe he was a student of the Joe Kubert School of Art, with such alum as Andy Kubert, Tom Mandrake, Jan Duursema, I think. And you know, I've spoken with him a little bit, and that is not the case at all. His number one influence is Calvin and Hobbes.
Really?
But man, he's just got this really detailed, intricate style. You know, a lot of just like creepy creatures, really like organic looking, just crazy landscapes, just great stuff. And so I've been following Simon Roy for a while, and this Grip of the Kombinat is a book that came out a few months ago, and it and Damon Gentry, who I guess they're both doing the art on this. Damon Gentry is known for a comic called Sabretooth Swordsman that Dark Horse put out, and that was a really cool comic with just insane artwork. I might pull it out sometime and we could take a look at that. I don't think it's anything that anybody really particularly has heard of, but people that have heard of it and seen it are completely blown away, because it's just it's and the artwork's insane. It's this like, you know, saber-toothed tiger that walks around, you know, he's like a man, 2 arms, 2 legs kind of thing, and he just walks around with his sword in some crazy battles.
Oh,
all right. But so the Kombinat, we've got again it's black and white, and it's got some great artwork. Again, reminds me of like Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
I see that. Yeah.
Mobius stuff. But the artwork is split, and I don't actually know who's doing what. I assume the stuff that I just showed is Simon Roy, and Damon Gentry, I assume, is doing this more. It's kind of like a Frank Miller style, to be honest. A lot of use of like black, you know, doing like some negative space stuff, some ways, not quite as much as Frank Miller, but you know, I don't know who else to compare it to. And there's a lot of goofy stuff going on, so it's kind of like, I don't know why it keeps screaming Frank Miller to me, but it does. There's all right, so let me read the summary here. 2 mega corporations wage an eternal tug of war for the ruins of our future solar system. Pulpy sci-fi adventure, escalating unintended consequences, wry satire, and pure goofery combine in 7 potent chapters of comics entertainment to make Grip of the Kombinat an unholy love child of Verhoeven and Asimov. An original graphic novel from the deranged minds of comic wunderkinder Simon Roy, Prophet, Habitat, First Knife, and Damon Gentry, Saber-Tooth Swordsman, Vinegar Teeth. It is rated M for mature. And it's just, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. You know, you got all your regular sci-fi with robots and buildings blowing up. But like, okay, so the robots, so humans lost their jobs because the robots took over. But now, like, repairing the robots and stuff has costs more money, and the cost of human labor is like just so worthless because they weren't doing anything, I guess. So now the robots are being replaced by humans, and so the robots aren't so happy about that. They've grown a little lazy. There are some great scenes about that. I think I got one marked. No, but there's a great little scene here about the life of a robot. They've got like maybe a little tribute to Kraftwerk. They say Wir sind die Robots, where he's having some robot karaoke. And they're going through the life of you know, robot baby being born, and you know, meeting his robot wife. They're doing some robot dating there, and just wacky stuff. They've got these robots that are strung up and left to dry and they do these like ongoing comic strip gags about these robots just kind of hanging there. Yeah, it's a little hard to know exactly what's going on sometimes, because there's just like so much wacky non sequitur kind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But you know, it's got some cool art, some cool characters. It's really original. We got this this gal here, it gets a job at the the Puck Corporation, which is let me see what that is. It's they're one of the main two mega corporations. And I thought it was right at the beginning here. It's the Peerless Universal Kombinat, PUK, Puck. And so she gets a job at Puck, starts out in the mailroom and works her way up. And then, not to give any spoilers, but she's a spy. She's a spy. And there's some cool scenes. I call them family circus style, where it just kind of, you know, it's one page and she goes around. She's like up in this office, and then down here she's crawling through the pipes and you know, sneaking around the catwalks and stuff like that. So you know, it's really a lot of fun, really interesting stuff. Can't wait to finish reading it. The style, the art style just changes so much. You know, over here there's a bar scene. It reminds me kind of like John Ostrander was doing a series where they're set at a place called Bar Sinister, published by First Comics. Gosh, was it called Scout? I can't think of what it was called right now, but you know, it reminds me a lot of different independent 80s comics. And it's a lot of fun. He's also got his Kickstarter right now for his newest project called Grizz Grobus. So people can back that Kickstarter. You could read Grizz Grobus online for free as well, because it first came out as like a weekly or bi-weekly kind of online comic strip. And yeah, Grip of the Kombinat for you know, just random sci-fi humor.
Is he marrying a robot?
Yeah, he's marrying a robot.
Okay. I'm sure there were sparks that flew.
For sure.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. I actually found something that I forgot I had. Interesting. So I have this giant comic book, limited collectors blue ribbon series of the Flash #1. This thing is from like 1975. Yeah, this was published in well, not published, but done again in this format in 1975. This is actually an old book, so it's pretty neat. The you know, there's all of the giant panels. And if I remember right, I think the Hawkman actually appeared first in the Flash, or one of those books he was in the first time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that All Flash Comics #1.
All Flash Comics, yeah.
First appearance of Flash J. Garrick, Hawkman. I think maybe Johnny
Thunder
in there
yeah.
too.
Yeah, that's right. And look at the back. There's the advertisement on the back. Make your own records at home.
Oh, nice.
From like 1970 something. And I think comic books back then were like what? Well, this is from the 40s, but 10 cents back in the original time. Yeah, I forgot where I found this. I think I found this at this retro store in San Jose. I think. I don't remember. But yeah, it's really cool. The Flash was first written by Gardner Fox, so it's really cool to see this like really big blow up of the first issue of the Flash. I think what's really cool. I have this book called The Flash Champion. Sorry, Companion. It's all about the history of the publication of the Flash. And when I'm looking at the first one of Jay Garrick, he actually they said that he went through different taglines. So the fastest man alive was not actually set until Flash Quarterly #1 in 1941. He had stuff like the fastest thing on Earth, the swiftest creature alive, so this thing on Earth, the fastest moving thing on Earth. I had totally different. The swiftest thing in the universe.
That's wild. The fastest moving thing on Earth.
Yeah.
Here we thought it was a cheetah slug.
Cheetah slug. Yeah. So, if you could find this, I forgot where I bought this, but it's by Keith Dallas, and this is actually really good if you want to know more about the Flash and its history. It goes through all the characters, all the major Flashes, Barry Allen, Wally West, Bart Allen, and all their public publication and how they came to be. So I think it's really cool.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
When did that come out?
Oh, that's a good question. It's definitely older than 10 years. This book came out, it was published in 2008.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's 14 years old. But if you can find it, I recommend it. It's a really great way to know more about the Flash. It was published by, well, there's a little eclipse on the thing on the bottom. There's something.
Okay.
I can find it in here. TwoMorrows Publishing. So you can go to TwoMorrows.com, and it has like the number, the word two. I think you can see that, but it's TWO and then Morrows Publishing. So the website is the same with 2 in it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've heard of that publisher.
Oh wow. You heard of everything I talk about.
They do more books type stuff rather than regular comics.
You can share, if you have something else you can share, you can do that. I got one more thing I want to show. I didn't read it though, but it's really old.
Yeah, why don't you share the last thing you got, and I'll dig up something else.
Sure. So these are I was giving my grandma gave me these before she passed away. And these are Mad Comic graphic novels from like the 1950s. These are really old, like super old. I haven't really looked at it that much because it's kind of, a relic. Yeah, it says entire contents copyright 1953, 1954, and 1955. So I have 3 of these. I think it's really great. It's interesting I have these things. There's a Mad Reader with that typical Mad magazine dude, Mad Comics guy. And
Alfred E. Newman.
So yeah, I'm really appreciative that she gave me this. I think it's really cool. They're really old. There's an example of artwork in it.
All right, yeah, that's some like classic EC style artwork there. I wonder if that's like Frank Frazetta or something.
I don't know quite. Whoa, dang, these are really old. Who was? Let me see here. Does it say the actual writer of this? Well, it's published by Ballantine Books. That was a publisher. Of course, the writer is not alive anymore, but there's the publisher on the bottom. But that cool. I never knew the name of that guy, but I always saw him in the magazines.
Alfred E. Newman.
Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah, Mad Magazine's mascot.
Yeah. There's some more stuff. This is like classic like tabloids. You can see that right there.
Cool.
Yeah, this is a relic. I'm trying not to hold them too much, but yeah, I got 3 of them.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so you know, a little history with Mad Magazine, right? Founder William Gaines, EC Comics, which brought us things such as Tales from the Crypt. And there was the big to-do about comics were wrecking our children and causing juvenile delinquents, right? And so
Yeah.
it led to the Comics Code Authority being created. And it was, you know, directly because of Tales from the Crypt was one of the big comics that led to it. There is just a lot of really racy stuff happening in these comics. And so Mad Magazine actually started out in comic book format. It was called Mad. And to bypass the Comics Code Authority, around issue number 8 or something's when that all happened. So they changed it to a magazine format. So that way they were no longer a comic book and didn't have to adhere to the Comics Code Authority.
That's interesting. Because I used to read the magazines every now and then. I would see them in like offices. That's interesting. I didn't know. That's
yeah,
cool.
so they were really, you know, racy. And just I mean, they brought just such a wealth of comic creators to all of us. Severin, Frazetta did a lot of stuff there. My favorite, Aragones, got his start at Mad Magazine. You know, they kind of tamed down towards the end of the 70s and became more, I would say, family friendly. You know, but they had some pretty out there racy kind of stuff, and they were so popular. Yeah, you can see Ballantine Books collected them into little trade books, just like you've got, and those were just really cool. You know, when I was a kid, my dad had a spy versus spy book. My brother and I used to love reading, and I've got a collection of Sergio Aragones drawn out dramas in that same format. You know, I think they published those all the way through the late 70s, and then they kind of stopped. And then, you know, Mad Magazine kind of fell out of favor, and now nobody really reads it anymore. So yeah. Cool.
You know,
those are super cool books.
oh yeah, I remember when I was a kid reading Mad Magazine, and like I remember it was very that was what's the word? Whoa, what's this stuff? Like I found it a little repulsive. If I remember right. I think it's the first time I actually saw caricatures. You know, because they actually back in the magazines that I read, they were like very stylized, you know, when they have that long face and the big nose.
Right.
I actually learned about that in art college. You pick something that stands out about someone that's very identifiable, and you make it bigger, smaller, and whatever you want, or you take their expression, like if they're squinting, you make their face really small in the middle. You know.
Yeah, you exaggerate it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was actually fun to do. I actually drew some people with it in that way, that style, but then I felt bad because I felt like I was making fun of them. So didn't feel
good. Yeah, don't do it to your friends, just politicians and celebrities.
Yeah, well, I was sketching people like on Bart, but you know.
Cool. All right. Well, so I found one last comic to talk about, one that I've read recently. The Jurassic League.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
All right. This is a 6-issue limited series by DC Comics. The creators are Juan Jadion, Daniel Warren Johnson, and art by Juan Jadion and John Mickle. And so I picked this up. At first, I was like, come on, man, give me a break. The Justice League is dinosaurs. It's like, okay, I mean, that could be epically cool if you're like, you know, 10 years old and you love dinosaurs, but it's like, man, you know, I don't. But then I was like, I saw the artwork on the cover and I was like, this artwork is pretty badass. You know, maybe this could be a lot of fun. And the artwork inside is a little bit different, but it's still very cool.
Oh yeah, I like that.
And you know, it's exactly what you would think it is, which is weird. So Superman is a dinosaur, but was raised by humans. I guess he's a dinosaur from another planet. And, you know, so his parents, the planet was going to explode. His parents found this planet with dinosaurs, Earth, and rocketed him over there. But then he was raised by humans instead.
Oh, okay.
But he is now, you know, teamed up with, you know, his dinosaur super powered buddies, Wonder Woman, Batman, Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman, and they all have, you know, interesting names. Green Lantern's the Green Torch.
So he's like a duck Parasaurolophus.
Yeah, it's hard to know exactly what he is. Some kind of dinosaur thing.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
Parasaurolophus or
let's see. Aquaman is called well, I don't know, but Aquaman fights Black Mantisaurus. And so they all have like
So
you know,
I just got that. I just got that.
changed names. So it's like, you know, it's not just Superman, it's I don't know what they are, you know, it's but they're going to find Joker Zard. And it's bizarre, but it's a lot of fun. It hasn't quite wrapped up yet. Number 6 should probably be out pretty soon. And
Oh, it's like a Stegosaurus
yeah.
Stegosaurus combination.
So, you know, you can the trade paperback will probably be along in 2 to 3 months, and you don't need to know anything about anything
Is
to
that
be able to pick it up
is
and
that
read
Dark
it.
Side?
Yep.
An Ankylosaurus?
Yeah. That's I wish they made it easy for me to find, you know, I wasn't planning on reviewing this comic.
Yeah,
I
well,
didn't mark
appreciate it.
anything, but yeah, darky low side. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but
Darky Losade. Side.
So just bizarre stuff. You know, a lot of fun, nothing to take too seriously or to think about too deeply, but you know, it's an enjoyable read. I've been kind of digging it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to read that. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. That's great. I think we shared a lot of cool stuff with our viewers today. I think they should all pick up what we reviewed today. Very cool stuff.
Yeah,
So-
definitely. And you know, any of our viewers have questions, want to find out more about the comics, where to get them, or if they've got suggestions of comics they'd like us to review, or if they're creators themselves and they want us to check out their stuff. We've got an email set up, geeks@goblinscomics.com. That's goblin with a Y. So that will probably be posted in our videos so everybody could check it out, message us with you know, feedback, thanks, or comments, questions, whatever you guys need. You know, we're graphic novel geeks here, and we'll see if we can answer your questions.
Yeah. All right. I think it was a great episode. If you have nothing further to share, I think we will probably cut it here. And we'll be back next time to review some comics. Probably next Sunday, right, Keith? Right?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
All right. Thanks, Katsuo.
Yeah, you inspire me to actually go back to comic book shops. I've been trying to. I'm gonna try to go on there here and pick up some new stuff. So
Cool.
all right.
Support your local comic shop.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys later. Let me end the live, and thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you.